Welcome, welcome. It is, oh my goodness, a new day, a new week, a new year. Welcome back to the show. All of you joining us in our live audience. We're so thrilled that you're here, excited to be together today for the next episode of the show where we are going to take things to the next level. So let's take a deep breath and rub our hands together. Let's balance out the right and left hemisphere of the brain and get ready to rise. This is so exciting. What we're going to focus on today is something I feel, I'm not going to say an obsession about quite yet. Maybe it'll get there, but something I'm definitely, I'm really excited about, I geek out about, and I'm excited for us all to do here in this community. And what it is working with a planner. Okay. So I analyzed over the last month, I have analyzed four, let me see if I can show them all here. I have analyzed four top planners that were recommended, actually five, because I have Brendan Bouchard's high performance planner as well. And the big question, right, that we get to ask is which of these planners is going to bring me success this year? Which planner is going to make me rich in my life, in my financial abundance, in my contribution, right? And so I haven't been using a physical planner in a number of years, and I will be using one this year. And we're going to talk about whether you want to use a physical. I have a whole nother video coming out on analyzing these planners and all the pros and cons. But what I want to talk about in today's episode, so that we really take our results to the next level over the next 90 days and beyond, is what, like, what is the method we're going to use, right? Someone in our studio audience here said, the planner that'll make you rich and successful is the one you actually use, right? So thank you, Jade, for that, right? The one you actually use. But I want to talk less about a specific device and tool, because like I said, I have a different training that we will get you guys for that. What I want to talk about is what strategy or process are you going to use to create the results you want? If it is to use, a physical planner, like I'm just feeling inspired to do for this year, great. If it's to use different, apps and things on your phone or your, tablet or whatever it is, great. If it's whatever it is, what we're going to break down today is the principle of success that is based on what you track increases. Whatever you track increases. Whatever you put your attention on expands. Whatever you focus on, you get more of. We can say this all kinds of different ways, from the woo-woo law of attraction side of things to the straight up, high performance habit science, psychology side of things. The point is that whatever we track, focus on, and run our energy toward will expand and grow and prosper. A lot of the time, which is why we can use these wonderful devices, whether it's digital or physical, a lot of the times what happens is unconsciously, because of the negativity bias in our brains, we focus on the stuff we don't want, the stuff we don't like, the things that are hard, the things that aren't going well. It's biologically wired. And so in order to create a new neural pathway, we might want to use, whether again, I'm just like my visual aids today, whether it is, digital or physical in that way, we might want to use devices or products or strategies to be able to focus our attention where we actually want it to go. Okay, so coming up just so you know, we're in the series, the Game Changer series, and I am using a new planning system that I've created over the last couple years that I'm really committed to this year as one of my game changers for 2025. You get to decide what your game changers are going to be, and if you are not already, just so you know, if you're not already signed up for the boot camp that we're running next week, January 13th to 17th, make sure you register for that today, because I'm going to be doing forecasting on the strategies, the things that we need to know in terms of being thought leaders, being authors, whether you're launching a product, a book, a coaching program, whether you're scaling this year, whatever it is, make sure you're there for the 2025 forecasting. And I'm going to be teaching two brand new book funnels. brand new, never taught before ever, ways to monetize your book if you are doing some kind of a book or creative product this year. So make sure to sign up for the boot camp. It's completely free. And then on January 2nd, this is my other quick announcement, on January 22nd, rather, not January 2nd, January 22nd, that is known as Quitters Week because 92% of the world gives up on their big intentions and big ideas by January 22nd. So we have strategically placed a new masterclass, Game Changing Leaders, that I'll be also gifting you all for free. And I'm going to take you through both the mindset practices and a 3-step process to make sure that you manifest the goals that you've set for this year. Okay, so first we're going to figure out a tracking planning system of some kind. Next week, we're together the whole week, and I'll be training you step by step on forecasting for 2025, what you need to know as a thought leader, an author, an expert, coach, a consultant, whatever it is that you do, and giving you some new funnel ideas, some new monetizing ideas. And then the following week on January 22nd, we're going to be doing Game Changing Leaders, where I'm going to break down a 3-part process to go all the way, to make sure even by the end of this first quarter that you ideally see more results than you saw last year. Okay, so those are all free. Make sure you sign up for them. If you're in the live audience today, the links are in the chat, and our team can post them on all the social channels where you all are streaming in from. We'll make sure you all get the links to those. All right, so what we focus on increases, what we track expands, what we pay attention to grows. This is what we hear from all different places. It's been proven scientifically. So how are we going to use that to our advantage this year? Now, like I said, I couldn't find any one planner that gave me everything that I am going to be tracking and focusing on. So I have made my own version. And if you're all interested and want my whole detailed outline, we can do a whole episode on that. So message and let me know, or put it in the chat that you want that, and we will do that. But what we get to do today is focus on the most important thing, which is you. And what do you want to see increase and grow in 2025? What do you want to increase and grow this year, or whenever you're listening and watching this? Okay. So I want you to define right now for yourself, what are the most important 1, 2, or 3 things? And then I am going to give you a sneak preview of what I'm tracking and working on every day and how I work my system. We won't be able to do the whole in-depth thing. That'll have to be a separate episode. But what do you want to track? So think about the 1, 2, or 3 most important things that you want to see increase. See, now we're not asking ourselves to oh, I got to write down stuff and it's boring. No, we're saying, what do I want to see increase? And how am I going to build whatever strategy I use around that? So those of you that are here live in the audience, if you want to put that and share that in the chat so that we can read those out, what are some of the things that we all as experts and leaders, what are we wanting to see increase? What are we tracking this year? And then I'll tell you what I'm tracking and how I'm going to track it. Okay. Those of you watching on YouTube and streaming on the various platforms, what do you want to see increase and grow this year? Is it revenue? Is it fun? Is it discipline, like really, following through on things? Is it pages generated, books launched? Is it content creation? Is it your health? Certain things in your relationship? Impact? And if you can, put them in priority order, because that's going to help also with, we don't want to make, I'll tell you the easiest way to not use a planner or any kind of planning system is to make it complicated. Right? That's just a surefire way to make sure by January 22nd, you will have chucked that. I'll be chucking these out the window, right? Okay. No, we want this to be something you go the distance. Okay. So some people here, some of you are tracking revenue. Okay. What else do you want to see increase this year? What's important to you? Deciding that will matter intensely. Yeah. Profit, press and media coverage, including from your book, adventures, beautiful. Beautiful. So I like to really think of 1 to 3 most important things, because then I'm not going to make my system too complicated, right? Okay. Yeah. Speaking events. Great. That's a great, right? That's one of the things I track, one a week. So I'm going to track that somewhere. Okay. So here's how I like to break this. I'm just giving you a sneak preview of like the whole way that I'm doing the planning. So whether you're doing it in a physical book of some kind, or you're doing it digitally, or you're making an Excel, or Google Sheets, or whatever it is that you want to do, we know that the principle we're working with today is whatever you track increases. So if you want to increase revenue, one of the things you're going to track is money. You're going to track money, right? Ideally daily, because again, if we're tracking something once a week, that's less attention that's going to it than once a day, right? So what I like to do is I like to make sure that somewhere, at the beginning of, I'll show you different, some of these different planners, you are putting like, what are your big 3? Okay, what are your big 3 goals for the year? And if you don't know that yet, you haven't had an opportunity to decide what that is, whatever you're listening to at any point in the year, then let's drop the link here and in the show notes, team, if we can let's put the show notes and put the masterclass we did on January 3rd. Okay, that's going to help you get clear on your big 3, what you're focusing on this year. So make sure you do that. If you're not sure, once you have them, you're going to write them somewhere. Okay, my top 3 goals of the year are, if you have a word of the year. So I like to create just a page at the beginning, whether it's digital or physical, where I'm saying like, these are the big 3. If I walk out, if it's the end of the year and these 3 things are done, they are my reality, I am ecstatic, right? So you're going to want to know your big 3. If you don't know them yet, use the link that we'll have on social and in the show notes and here, and grab it and just give yourself the gift of carving out some time later today or this week and getting clear on that. Now, once you know those big 3, right, then you can do your quarter. You can break the year down into 4 12-week periods, right? Like a lot of people do, if that works for you. We've got a training on that. We did a whole episode on that one, and we can, let's put that in the show notes as well. And you can go through the 90-day meeting and exceeding and smashing your 90-day goals. We call it, can create the best 90 days of your life so far. Okay. And you can use that system. Whatever it is that you're focusing on big picture, and whatever you're focusing on in the next 90 days is really important to have front and center. That's why whether you're using it physical or digital, you want to be able to open up and say, yep, this is the big 3. How am I thinking about that? Okay. And then thinking about, who is the identity of that person who does those 3 things this year? What is the identity statement? I am a 6-figure coach. I'm an 8-figure entrepreneur. I am a world-renowned thought leader. I am an emerging industry leader. I am an impactful transformational coach. I'm a best-selling author, right? You're going to want to claim that identity in your planning process, again, physical or digital, so that is anchored. So we know where we're going in the year. We know where we're going in the quarter. We know what that identity, that next level you that you're stepping into. And then you think about the habits, the lifestyle, the actions of that person. And that's where you're going to go to your daily. Again, I'm just looking at it because I just got inspired to, do daily. So you take your blank daily page, right? If you're doing a physical book. Remember how teachers in school, they always used to like hold the books really nicely. They'd be like this. They'd show it to the class. Oh yeah, there's the picture of the puppy. I always was like teacher stance. Okay. So, right. So then what you're doing is you're deciding, what are you going to look at every single day? So I like to do a practice called P1 EOD. Okay. That sounds like a bunch of Star Wars droid talk, right? R2D2. It's P1, P1 EOD, which means that I take my day, and at the beginning of the day, or I do it often the night before, I write down the top priority actions. right? What are the top priority actions that are going to get me the furthest possible? Like if I was going to do the three most, or sometimes I have more than three, but what are the things I would do today that would most quickly and awesomely and powerfully move me forward to those big three goals or those quarterly goals, right? And I don't have to think about, do I feel like doing it? Do I feel confident? Do I any of those things? Instead, I go back to that identity statement and say, what does the eight-figure CEO, best-selling author, emerging thought leader, whatever your identity statement is, right? You're not going to make the priority list of you who feels maybe insecure, grouchy, you didn't get a great night's sleep. Great leaders take action based on vision. So what I'm sharing here today is a process. We're going to take action based on vision. You're going to build your life around your vision, not cram and give it the crumbs and the fumes that are left over after you do a whole bunch of other stuff. You feel like you have to, you should, blah, blah. You're going to put it through the lens of your limitation. This is liberated. This is liberated planning, right? This is liberated goal setting because we're not making the goals and making the daily actions based on the self who hasn't done it and has all her limitation beliefs and her traumas. We're saying, hey, like what does this person do today? That's how I make my priority list. Not what do I feel like, not what do I think will work, not if I'm worthy, not if I have energy. I don't care about that. I don't mean to suppress if we're tired, right? We got to do self-care. Like, what does that person do? And those are my P1s. The EOD is end of day. To whom do you want to be accountable? And you'll go a lot further, a lot faster. You will 10x your results if you're accountable to someone that you don't want to let down. It can be a group. It can be those of you in Thought Leader Academy. You have Thought Leader Academy, you have your pods, you have, all the things that we do in our community. Okay. So you're making your priority actions based on those 90-day and annual goals that you've set, and you're making them through the lens of your highest self. If you need the alter ego, we got a training on that, right? If you're not feeling like, okay, and then to make sure you do it, to whom are you going to be accountable? What's the accountability structure you're going to use? Okay. Then what else do you want to track? Do you feel in a lack of time? I recommend you track your time. So the planner I'm using now, the system I'm using, it actually lets me, write in every single thing that's happening by the hour. Okay, because I want to feel an abundance of time so I can track my time. Over here, I'm tracking my P1s, my priority ones, and what I'm going to report on at the end of the day. If there's other little niggly to-dos like, oh, my son's, the camp opens up on Wednesday that I'm gonna send him to this summer, so I need to put that's not a P1, but it's a to-do, right? That's great. But most importantly, what else are you going to track? So to create my magical, connected, just best year of my life so far, I track my time because I want abundance of time. I'm going to track revenue because I love an abundance of money. I'm tracking my priority actions and make sure that those are getting me lined up with my 90-day and annual 12-month goals. And then this down here, okay, this little area here, that's for the magic. Because I'm excited to have my life feel even more magical this year. It already does. But whatever we track increases. And so in this area of my daily planning, I'm tracking signs from the universe, intuitive nudges, what I call downloads, synchronicities, affirmations, wins. And truthfully, this is a planner I found that's like has the closest fields to what I want to be tracking this year. But when I make my own physical book, just out of my own practice, that's going to be the biggest section. A whole huge double spread page of every day is the magic, the downloads, what resonated, what was the white space I created so that those ideas could come through of how I can serve and contribute, give more of myself, receive. What did I read today? What did I see today? What did I listen to? Right? Under wins, it's like, Margaret, those speaking engagements, those those other, like, are you working on making relationships, right? And who did you reach out to that day? Those are the priority actions, right? So again, there's more to like the full system that I've been working on for the last couple years, but right now, to keep this so simple, it's just, you might take one thing from this episode today, one thing that you want to track that you weren't thinking about tracking. Do you want to track the magic? Do you want to track revenue daily in a either physical or digital space? And you weren't really thinking of doing it that way. Do you want to track your time because you want an abundance of time? Because whatever we track increases. And what's so cool about making a commitment, even if you just do it for the first, month of this year, just to try it out. Hell, try it out between now and Monday when we are together on the boot camp. Because you're giving yourself a system. You're giving yourself a habit of tracking the things that you want to see more of. Your abundance, your time, your joy, the magic, your wins. Because I realized I was getting kind of serious and left brain, right? And so I might in that section be drawing with markers. That's why I'm using a physical planner this year instead of being all digital like I've been the last few years. Because I want to play with markers and glitter pens and, just what brings me joy to reflect on the day, right? That might not be interesting to you. You do it how you want to do it. But what we know for sure, if you're taking one nugget from this experience that we're having together, is that if you want more of something, you got to track it. You got to focus on it. And so this is an invitation to create your own system like I did if you want to, or you might want to use a piece or multiple of the things we talked about today. So that's what I want to hear. I want to hear, what are you going to track? So if you're on YouTube, put it in the comments, on Instagram, Facebook. If you're here in our Zoom audience, what are you going to track this year? Or this week even? Try it for a week. And what thing are you going to use to make sure you do it, right? So it's like, I'm using a physical, planner. What feels good to you to use to make sure that you have a place to put it? Because we can say, oh, I'm going to track the money, but if we don't have a Google Sheets, and I still keep spreadsheet, look, I've got all the digital stuff too. But there's something about looking every day at, what are my big three? What is the identity of the next level I'm stepping into? What are the priority actions that person does today to just absolutely rock the best year of her life so far? Make sure my time's in alignment. What are the wins? And then what's the magic? What are those insights? Because we think we'll remember them. But has anyone had the experience where like, oh God, I had this great idea. I was working out, I was in the shower, and then you're like, I was putting the laundry in. You're like, ooh, that'd be such a cool, piece of content, or that'd be such a cool thing to do this, or I could, and then so you're like, what was that thing I was thinking about? Because we have a 2.9-second attention span, and we are freaking bombarded over and over with every kind of way, between the people we might live with, or the media that's coming into our space, or just our own intrusive thoughts. And so if there's a wish I could have for all of us this year, it is that we're tracking the magic. Yeah. Okay. I love this. So Audrey in here, who's live today, tracking money, magic, and movement. Isn't that great? So you've got your health, which will keep you in state, the magic, and the money. Beautiful. I love those M's. Gorgeous. Okay. So that's our work between now and the next episode, the next time we're together. What do you want to see more of this year? What are you going to use to make sure that you put your attention on it? So this is a way to create a new habit. To whom are you going to be accountable to make sure you stick with it? You can hang with me all month, right? We're doing this Game Changer series. We've got the boot camp. We have Game Changing Leaders in a couple weeks, right? You can do it with me this month. I'm going to be doing it right there with you. And there is no doubt in my mind that if you start to track things, either new things that you weren't tracking last year, or you're more consistently tracking things that you might have tracked sporadically, you will have an exponential increase in those things. It's science, right? We already know this. So we don't have to figure out, ooh, is this going to work? Yeah. Whatever we focus on increases, whatever we track expands. So I'm really excited for us to try this out. Make sure, again, that you are signed up, free ticket to the boot camp, January 13th to 17th, so that I can give you all the 2025 strategies and forecasting and new funnels for thought leaders. And then save that date, January 22nd. So we'll do Game Changing Leaders, and we will do the neuroscience and the 3-step process to make sure you actualize all those big three goals and more. All right. Awesome job, everyone. Let's go get planning. And I want to hear about it. Send me a message, DM me, let me know what you're choosing, how you're tracking, what you're tracking, so I can envision that for you. It's going to be the best year of our lives so far. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.